Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, reveal the books I bought this week, and if I screw up, a blooper reel. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Showdown. Kick that logo! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Coming to you from Clint's Comics right here in Monroe, Louisiana. And you'll have to forgive me, folks. I'm excited. This weekend is Louisiana Comic-Con at the Hirsch in Shreveport. Of course, I'll be going, and also I have to let y'all know, Clint's Comics will be closed on Saturday. So Claire and Will and several other people that hang around here, me included, will be going to Louisiana Comic-Con. So if you're gonna buy comics, don't come here. All right, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. All right, last week's episode, I asked, what was the Hulk's persona when he had gray skin in the 80s? Well, the correct answer, Mr. Fix-It, or Joe Fix-It. If he would have said either one, I would have accepted that. And 9 people answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their names have been entered in the drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So, the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is... Danelle Robinette from Warren, Ohio. So congratulations, Danelle. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right. Here's the question for next week's episode, and this one is very, very easy. As a matter of fact, I've talked about this on an episode of the Comic Hero Show, I think from a year ago. Which legendary boxer did DC team Superman up with in a 72-page special in 1978? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. All right, now Mike Hart from right here in Monroe, Louisiana, has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features a character who really can't die, and is also...
I didn't know I was in comics.
And is also been inside the body of many characters in the DC universe, and also... a former surgeon. Representing DC, we have the Spectre. And representing Marvel, we have Doctor Strange. These two are gonna duke it out in a segment I like to call...
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's the Spectre versus Doctor Strange. The Spectre possesses reality warping and immortality. Doctor Strange is a practicing magician who draws his powers from mythical entities such as Agamotto, Cyttorak, Icon, Ashtor, Rogador, and Watum, who lend their energies for spells. Strange also wields mystical artifacts including the Cloak of Levitation, which enables him to fly, the Eye of Agamotto, an amulet whose light is used to negate evil magic, the Book of the Vishanti, a grimoire which contains knowledge of white magic, and the Orb of Agamotto, a crystal ball which is used for clairvoyance. Who would win? You would think this fight would be no fair because of the Spectre's immortality, but not so fast. Sure, the Spectre is immortal, but Doctor Strange finds out something else about him. I'll get to that in a minute. Doctor Strange will play chicken with the Spectre and use spells that hardly have any effect. After minutes on end of doing this, the Spectre gets fed up with the Sorcerer Supreme and attempts to warp reality. Doctor Strange blocks it and casts a spell that removes the Spectre's soul from its host body. You see, the Spectre is indeed immortal. However, he's only immortal as long as he resides in a host body. Doctor Strange then ends it all by casting a spell that disintegrates the soul. Doctor Strange wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight. If you have fight requests for future episodes, contact info is down there. All right, then. Let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Invincible Iron Man number 6. Now, in the previous issue, Riri Williams, who is the new Iron Man, or shall I say Iron Heart, builds her own armor with the tutelage of Tony Stark, who is now a living AI. And her first thing, and she encounters Rescue, aka Pepper Potts, aka Tony Stark's former love interest and personal assistant. And then just when they were trying to get to know each other, next thing you know, Tomo the Technogolem shows up and saps them of their armor. But thanks to a virus that Tony Stark had told Riri about, she takes down Tomo. But then next thing you know, S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up. And then Sharon Carter, who is now the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., and invited her to, well, pretty much forced her to join S.H.I.E.L.D., but then she was like saying, no, thank you. Just like Metallica said in the song Escape, life's from my own to live my own way. And this is the start of a new story arc. Hey everyone. Now, I hope you all enjoyed your Easter weekend. I sure did. On Good Friday, right before I drove back to my hometown, I stopped by Books A Million in Monroe, and I found one book, The Amazing Spider-Man number 25. Now, this is the first story arc after the Clone Conspiracy, and this is called The Osborn Identity. And yeah, you guessed it, Spider-Man's going up against Norman Osborn. Surprise. Can't wait to read this. Alright, with that one book, it brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 7,888. Alright, next up is Back to the Future number 18. Now, in the previous story arc entitled, Who is Marty McFly? Marty and Doc encounter some doctor from the future who tries to lead Marty to believe that he is not the true Marty of his 1986 that he was in. And it all turned out to be a hoax. And then all of a sudden they ended up in the year 1997 where they found out that where internet had was just almost brand new. And they come back to 1986 and learn, and then with a lot of insight. And this is a new story arc. It's 2. All right, next up is Deadpool number 29. This is the conclusion to Till Death Do Us. Now I'm still a little behind on Deadpool. I'm behind on quite a few books, rather. Anyway, but charge it to my head, not to my heart. I'll get caught up. All right. Next up is U.S. Avengers number 5. This is the opening salvo issue, a Secret Empire opening salvo issue. Now, Secret Empire is the miniseries from Marvel coming out this summer, where the spotlight is going to be on Captain America, Steve Rogers. Now, everything that happened ever since last summer has been building up to this event. It's ever since the end of Captain America Steve Rogers number 1, where he says the 2 words we thought he'd never say. And those 2 words, say it with me, Hail Hydra. He becomes and this deeply affects the U.S. Avengers because they're a Shield sanctioned Avengers squad, and I mean they're characters like Cannonball, Roberto da Costa, the new Red Hulk, which is General Robert L. Maverick, and then Tony Ho, who's the new U.S. agent, who, by the way, is the biological daughter of Jensen, which was the guy who helped Tony Stark build the first Iron Man armor, and then several other characters. And it's a great book. Love it. They even go up against a character called the Gold Skull. All right. No, you're not watching Marvel's Luke Cage. That's just my phone going off. But anyway, next up is Superwoman number 9. This is an aftermath issue of the Superman Reborn story arc that just ended last month. And Lana Lang or the new 52 version of Along the Line, rather. For the most part of this, for the longest part, or majority of this book, rather, was the sole Superwoman. And, well, things haven't been easy. I mean, she almost dies. And then she goes up against Lex Luthor's sister, Lena Luthor, as Ultra Woman. If that wasn't enough. Well, she gets a clean bill of health, and now it's on. All right, next up, and I'm so excited about this book, Batman number 21. This is part 1 of a new story arc entitled The Button. Now, the one thing I love about this story, this is now the events of DC Rebirth from last May. We find out that some of the characters from the pre-Flashpoint universe, like Superman and Lois, and then their son Jonathan, all come to the new 52 universe, and also Wally West from the pre-Flashpoint universe. But whoever was responsible for all this happening, well, they kind of left the calling card, or they might have. I don't think they left it by accident. And so, and you know, it was a button. And of course, you see the button with the smiley face and the blood going down the side of it. You know that's the Watchmen. So this is a crossover event with the Flash. And they're going to find out what is going on here and what this button is for. Of course, we all know, but heck, they don't know.
The Joker's coming back.
All right, next up is Green Lanterns number 21. This is the conclusion to the story arc entitled Polarity, where Simon and Jessica go up against against Dr. Polaris. And Dr. Polaris, aka Dr. Emerson, is all beside himself because his brother is dying of cancer. So what does he do instead of relying on the doctors in an actual hospital? He goes and kidnaps him. He kidnaps his own brother and tries to make him well. Well, Jessica and Simon try to go up against him. I mean, it's bad enough that he already wrapped about 2 cars and rolled them into a ball with them inside of it, and now they're trying to go back for more. If they do beat Dr. Polaris, it's going to be very, very close. All right, next up is Super Sons number 3. Now, I love this book. It stars the Jonathan Kent Superboy, and then Damian Wayne as Robin. And they're having they're a team now, but they're having a hard time gelling together. I mean, if it wasn't enough, they went up against Lex Luthor, and now they're about to go up against a Kid Amazo. Just when we thought that the original Amazo was bad enough, now we have to go up against a child version of him. All right, and finally, Aquaman number 21. This is part 3 of H 2.0, where they go up against Deadwater. Now, well, Aquaman and some this U.S. sanctioned team called the Aquamarines. At first they were going to call themselves trying to find out exactly how Deadwater came to be, because they thought that he was dead. Go figure. But anyway, just when we thought he was over, he's got some more to say and some more to do. All right, that's not a bot, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 7,897. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And here's the question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Which legendary boxer did DC team Superman up with in a 72-page special in 1978? Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee in next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Danielle Robinette from Warren, Ohio, who won a free tee in this week's episode. All right, it's birthday time here on the Comic Hero Show. And happy birthday this past Sunday to my good friend from Monticello, Arkansas, Kathy McCord. Happy birthday, Kathy. Happy birthday this past Tuesday to one of the dental assistants over at Bayou Dental Group here in Monroe, Louisiana, and probably one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen from Farmerville, Louisiana, Brittany Dodd. Happy birthday, Brittany. And let me pause for a minute. Happy birthday this past Tuesday to one of the most amazing people, one of the most awesome people anyone could ever be friends with. The owner of Clint's Comics, Claire Chandler. Well, it's true. It's true. Yeah, that's right. Oh, turn that off. Yeah, but happy birthday, Claire. I love you. All right. Happy birthday yesterday to the co-owner of Southern Realms Comics and Games, Jennifer Gunter. Happy birthday, Jennifer. Happy birthday to one of my friends who is a very beloved school teacher at Sally Humble Elementary School, Emily Lovelady. Happy birthday, Emily. Happy birthday to one of my friends who's also a school teacher in Denham Springs, Louisiana, Elise Kidd. Happy birthday, Elise. Happy birthday this Saturday to one of my good friends I was in the sound today with at ULM, Dana Fennell. Happy birthday, Dana. Happy birthday to one of my good buddies from high school, Brian Ferguson. Happy birthday, Brian. And happy birthday this Sunday to the other owner of Southern Realms Comics and Games, James Gunter. Happy birthday, James. All right. Louisiana Comic Con. If you have a ticket to it, I will see you there. So right after you're done with this episode, go ahead and watch episode 162. I have a lot of things planned. I'm going to try to interview a lot of people. It's going to be great. All right, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'll see you next time for episode 162 at Louisiana Comic Con, and I'll see you right back here next week for episode 163, right back here at Clint's Comics. So till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero. Hey everyone. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the Easter weekend. And on Good Friday, right before I drove out to my hometown, I stopped by Books A Million in Monroe, and I found this. The Amazing Spider-Man number 25. Now, this is the first issue, or the first story arc, rather, after, Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Coming to you for Clint's Comics right here in Monroe, Louisiana. And this is the week, folks. This Saturday at Louisiana Comic Con. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight. And if you have future fights for, oh my God. All right, first up is Invincible Iron Man number 6. Now, in previous issues, Riri Williams, the new Iron Man, or should I say Iron Heart, builds her own armor with the tutelage of Tony Stark, who is now a living AI. And she goes and fights bad guys, and of all people, she goes up against the